Hey guys, Desolator here. Unfortunately, I am extremely sick today, but I really wanted to make this video because in around 2 days, basically, is the pre-release, or at least that's when they're starting. It's kind of all weekend for Oath of the Gatewatch, and I thought, hey, I should probably tell people what's going on with the pre-releases, because I have been to a grand total of, like, one of them, and that totally qualifies me to talk about it. Just kidding. Everybody knows I really love deck building, like even more than playing, so obviously sealed would be my favorite format, because you just build a deck on the fly, you've got very limited time, and then your deck building skills are huge. And then as long as you play properly, it all comes down to deck building skills, but it really comes down to luck of what you pulled too. That's a very big portion of it, so if you do terrible, it probably wasn't you, it was probably the cards you were given. So anyway, that's the bonus tip, but I'm gonna just run down all these tips as quickly as I possibly can. So what happens is right at the start time, everybody gets one pre-release pack handed out, and then you all open them. Open every booster, usually as quickly as you can, and you have 30 minutes to build a deck of at least 40 cards, and then you play however many rounds, so usually 4 to 5 rounds, give or take. And then, the prize structures, whatever they want, so everything past there pretty much varies, but that's the universal format, and you're only allowed to use the cards that you pulled out of your 6 packs. And actually, I should probably throw this up. Here's what you get with the pack. It's 6 booster packs. You get 4 from the new set, 2 from Battle for Zendikar, because, they mesh really well together, and it'd be silly to, start pulling allies without Rally. I mean, so they go together, so obviously you're getting less of the new cards, but whatever. It's you want to build a good deck, so I think it was a good choice on their part, and they've done stuff like this before. And then you get one dated, stamped, promo rare, so it's guaranteed to be a rare or mythic, I believe. I think they're still doing that, so you are allowed to play with the rare as well, so it's like your bonus rare, so you get 7 rares if you think about it, including the boosters. And then the only exception to having to build a deck with only what you pull is basic lands, so you cannot drop in dual lands that you didn't pull from your packs. You can't just reach into your backpack and pull out dual lands and stock it. And don't go looking for them at the land station. So most of them have a land station where you can borrow, usually, not take, but borrow the lands. That's why I bring my own lands, but people get all nuts at the 2nd and 3rd and 4th pre-releases about you pulling cards out of your pack because they don't know what it is. So if they're basic lands, make it really obvious, maybe spread them out on the table, face up, none of this, they're pre-sleeved, which I actually do recommend doing, is pre-sleeving them, and now I'm not showing anybody what they are, and I'm just slipping them into my deck. That's super sketchy, because you could just be dropping in more rares, But yeah, definitely for a time saver, bring your own lands and have them ready to go. And so you can put in as many basic lands as you want, and it just doesn't matter. Now, the one exception that they did do is the new land, the colorless land. Yes, it is a basic land, but if you want to play with it, you have to actually pull it from your boosters, and that is the rule for draft as well. So that's the official format. Now, the specifics would be, don't show up late, because they're going to be really strict on that. It's usually a pretty casual thing, because you didn't build the deck, you didn't, design it yourself and, and put a bunch of time to do it, and everybody's decks are going to be all different levels of crazy. I mean, somebody might have pulled 4 anti-magic cards and they're playing mono blue somehow and it's working perfectly, and then you might have pulled absolute crap like I did last pre-release, and you should still play it. Nobody, usually opens their cards and say, oh, I can't play with this, because there's probably 20-30% of people with some disastrous catastrophe of a deck, and you might play them. Especially if you start losing, then you'll definitely play them, unless it's fully randomized. So, some people do, if you win all 5 rounds, you get, 15 or 12 or something boosters, and then if you win, 4 and 1... then you win, less, and then ties and stuff, and they pay down to usually, 3 to 2, then you get, 2 packs. That's usually what they do, but, I've seen smaller tournaments, they just do win a round, win a pack, so however you do cumulatively isn't really that important. So unless you go 0-4, you're going to win at least 1 extra booster pack, so that's kind of cool. I kind of like that format. I mean, I like ranking real high, but, I also don't like getting stuck with really crappy cards and then just barely losing at the last second and going 2 and 3, which is exactly what happened last time. It was still fun. It was just a shame, because I had won quite a few rounds in individual matches, actually, so I would have had, instead of 0 packs, I would have had 2. So, that's the other thing. Pick out your LGS based on what format and what size crowd you want. But definitely do not show up late. Like I said, you do not want to do that. So arrange your transportation accordingly. Get a reliable car. Make sure everybody's awake. Call everybody ahead of time. You can never be too careful, because you could show up 45 minutes early, great, browse the store, buy some stuff, chill out, meet new people, whatever. But if you're like 5 minutes late and they're already opening, you either have 25 minutes to open if they take a late entry, or you're disqualified. Or not really disqualified because you never did in the first place, but they would not let you enter. So your basic planning goes into this. Make sure that you get either sleep before or plan to sleep after, depending upon just when you got to work, what your schedule is that day, what you're doing, where you're going, how many events you're going to. Just kind of map it out. I mean, we got a whole dang piece of paper out, drew it all out, said, okay, sleep here, go to this one, skip this one, go to this one, okay, done. And don't forget about the NFL playoffs too, because that should definitely be on your schedule, unless your team lost. My condolences. But definitely plan ahead, because if you show up at the wrong time, show up at the wrong store, I've had people do that. That was pretty funny. You don't want to do that. And if your LGS makes you buy tickets ahead of time or reserve a spot to make sure they have inventory, definitely do that, and make sure everybody you're going with does that. Because if 4 people show up in a car and one of them forgot to, sign up ahead of time and he can't play, he's stuck there for, 4, 5, 6 hours while you guys play. So that would suck. You'd probably leave him without you. Sorry. And the other thing is, now, if you're going to the midnight to 6 a.m. one, most people don't think about this. I've had this problem every time I've stayed up. I've at least either had it or seen it for an event. So we did all night laser tag things. We've done all night, lock-ins, all kinds of stuff. And, pre-releases, obviously. Quite a few people will get horribly, horribly sick. Not like, oh, I have a cold right now, sick, because I do. Hey, coincidence. It's your digestive system. Your digestive system is used to doing a lot of digestion while you're sleeping. So if all of a sudden you don't sleep, you are going to get some serious problems like nausea and indigestion and I don't even know what, but it'll be bad. I mean, people will be saying, oh, I just don't feel so good. Must have been something I ate. Must have been something I drank. Must have been the lack of sleep. I gotta go. And they don't even know what happened. But that's what it is. So don't eat some big giant meal, fill up your whole stomach and digestive system and everything beforehand. That's not great. But you also don't want to go completely without food, or you won't be able to focus, because you're going to need a little bit more energy than normal. So I would recommend, caffeine if you want, but vitamin B, especially B12, that will help you focus if you're not sleeping. That is way more important. So you could just take a B complex and be calm and collected and focused, or you could get just straight crazy on some high energy drink. Whatever works for you. You do you, bro. Let me share my amazing tactics with you. This I wouldn't recommend this, but I get off of work at 4:30. So about 4:45, I'm going to be 6 milligrams of melatonin in bed. Boom, goodbye. Now, you're not supposed to take that if you're going to sleep less than 8 hours, because that's how long it'll be in your bloodstream. So then I'm going to wake up at about 11, totally weird, really, really freaked out, and then go to the, go to the fridge first, get a whole bunch of M150 or Red Bull or whatever's there. I don't even know what's in there. It might be, I don't know, doing all these product plugs. I'm not even getting paid for it. So your insert generic name here energy drink, drink that if that's what you're doing, if you're shorting yourself on sleep, and then you'll be good to go, revive yourself, or just stay up really late the night before, get used to it, and then do the same the next night, and otherwise just shift your sleep schedule. That's a lot better of an idea, but like me, I gotta work, it's Friday, you guys are probably working too. So, but plan it out, definitely plan it out. And then I'm hoping that by Sunday I'll be going level-headed and chemical-free to the future events. Don't want things getting too wild. Speaking of things getting too wild, people might be a little bit sleepy and a little bit super grumpy at the event, and so they're going to be lack of sleep and lots of caffeine, which makes it kind of aggressive, and then a lot of people are going to be making play errors and misreading cards. So give people a lot more leeway on the rules than you normally would. Don't be a dick about it. Don't insinuate that they did it on purpose, because there are people who go there and cheat, but hey, whatever. If that's what they want to do, I just keep catching them. I've caught 50 people cheating against me at least last year. So, people don't typically go to tournaments like these and try to cheat unless they're really obsessed with prizes. But, be on the lookout, but then don't, catch people if they're wrong, but don't be a complete jerk about it and say, oh, you're cheating, you misread that card on purpose, because chances are they're just really tired and have never seen the card before. So we've got format, planning, etiquette, and whatever else I just said. I don't know, I'm sick. And now let's move on to how to actually play better. So if you got to build above a 40 card deck, that is so much better than building like a 65 card deck in Constructed, where you should never do, because that's like mathematical, everybody's level playing field. This one's just all over the place. So if you see X amount of creature, non-creature spells and cards, and you just think, it adds up to 44. Why would I take this out? What would be the reason for taking this card out? Like if it costs 8, ditch it. I mean, that's probably not a great card unless it's exceptional and you think you can draw it. But if you've just got nothing but allies and you got, I don't know, 15 of each, yeah, go up to like 50. Why not? I mean, so definitely bring enough lands, bring enough sleeves to go up to as high as you think. I don't think I've ever heard of higher than like 47 under normal circumstances, but I think I built 44 last time, and I did quite well, actually, besides massive play errors and losing. But I thought I played great at the time, but I was really crooked on caffeine, so who knows what really happened. Anything could happen. Now, your probability of being able to go monocolor is super low, because it'll be really, really, really hard to get to 40 that way. I mean, you might just overpull a one single color and then maybe put in, I don't know, go a little land heavy because the cost will maybe be higher, and then put in a couple like colorless and call it mono. I've seen it, but don't expect to do it. I would very strongly recommend playing 2 color. I've seen people go 3 or 4. Some do great with it, some don't. They memorized every last card ahead of time and all the math, and they're like, yes, this third color will not be a detriment at all. But you're gonna get color screwed. I mean, you're not just gonna pull one color in a row in your opening hand draw on turn 1, 2, and 3. It's never gonna happen. So you're gonna be playing pretty slow, but if your deck can hold on long enough, like you've got some control, stall, life gain, okay, then go 3 if you really think it's appropriate. Like, don't go 3 just cause. 2 color is almost all you see there, and there's always some lunatics going 4 or 5, and they just pick like either like all flyers or all one type, and then they just get massively they either demolish you one game by pulling exactly the lands they need for their cards that they're holding in hand, or they like don't even get anything on the field. So it's like just absolute chaos, which is why this is a really fun, really funny, just silly format that people don't take very seriously. But since you probably like winning better than losing and you're listening to this video, I'll continue giving tips. So building your deck just like a pre-made deck is actually pretty smart. You could get away with a 6 cost, you could get away with a 5 cost, certainly. I mean, anytime. 7, 8, maybe. I mean, it's a complete bomb in your opening hand. If you had 2 or 3 of it, just up the land count a little bit and go for it. Just try to get to it every match. You won't, so you can't count on like that one giant expensive card winning the game for you every time, but it's usually like if you can get out the big honkin' like Mythic Bomb or whatever the really hot, good balanced card is on the top end, then you're probably going to win that match, but you want the small support. So usually the cheaper the better, because like I said, if they built their deck real iffy, like it could go off, it could not go off, and you've got nothing but 1 and 2 cost creatures, you'd have to just luckily pull that pretty much if you're going 2 color. And then, like I said, if you're going 3 or 4 color and all your creatures cost 1 or 2, you're probably just going to be color screwed. So the whole I'm going to blitz them, no, probably not. So definitely go as low as you can, but there are some cards that are just useless. So don't just say, oh, I got to pull this 4 cost and put in this 2 cost, even though the 2 cost is like a 0/3 that does nothing. Like, that's probably not going to be amazing for you in that deck necessarily. So definitely just feel it out and say, okay, I'm going to build this, and I could get, a mana curve up to 5 or 6 or 7. It's reasonable. So throw in some 1 cost, some 2 cost, some 3 cost, some 4 cost, some 5 cost, within the basic realm of what you pulled, I guess, within the pool that you have to work with. And definitely don't try to cheat and swap cards with your friends and stuff, because there's an insane amount of judges at these usually. Like every single judge that the LGS has will usually show up and quite often not even be playing and just be watching for people to do that. So definitely don't even try it. Plus, why would you cheat at a completely silly format that's at midnight when everybody's tired and some people are going to lose based on what they open? I mean, it's a dumb thing to try to cheat at. I don't think you should cheat ever at all. I mean, I've caught so many people cheating against me. It's unbelievable. And they know I'm an RA at one of the LGSs. I'm not a certified judge, but I know the rules and I know what the cards say because I sell a lot of cards online. So getting one past me is pretty much impossible. So definitely be on the hunt for cheaters, but not as much as usual at this type of event. I would focus on, how you're playing more than, hey, everybody's trying to cheat me, So there's all kinds of theories about deck building at pre-releases and how to play sealed, and there's a lot more strategy in draft. There's a lot less strategy in sealed because you just have to play with what you pull. So the two major tips that I always give people are don't just go into it saying I'm going to play these two colors, and then just whatever you pull, play those two colors, no matter how terrible they are. Even if you're really familiar with those colors, like I play white and blue all the time, but if my white and blue cards suck, I'm going red, and I've built 2 red decks ever. Maybe 3. I just don't play red. I don't really like it. But if the cards are better, I'm going red. I'm all red for the night. So don't be afraid to mix it up. Play a format that you're not used to, like Red Burn or Hyper Control if you're not into that, or Super Aggro Rush. I mean, so you should definitely know how to play those various decks. Borrow some from your friends, whatever you got to do. And then my other major tip is. Do your research. Like, you don't have to memorize every card. It is a 184 card set, so it might not hurt to just breeze through them and just read them all. But if you don't have the time or you don't want to put in that level of effort, you just want to show up and just play and have fun, at the very least, learn what Surge and Cohort and Support do. And they're all like super simple. I mean, they're not even really like real things. There's like, it might as well just say add counters to the person. Like, it's not even, they just made it up. But not all the pre-releases have such unbelievably simplistic mechanics, but you should definitely look up how Surge works. You should watch my video on Surge, because it probably doesn't work the way you think, because everybody, when they hear the word cast, thinks it means cast successfully. It doesn't, and it doesn't have to have resolved at that time. It only has to have been attempted to be cast. So that alone could give you enough, knowledge to outplay your opponent. So, know what the cards do, and don't fall into the trap, like the really similar trap of, I'm only going to look at the blue cards from the set because I like blue and that's what I'm going to build in the future. Well, you'll know what those do, and then you've got 4 other columns to look at your when you open your boosters, and it should be pretty even, plus or minus like 3 cards. So you're probably going to pull X amount of every single color. That's why it's really hard to go mono, because you just won't have the actual physical cards, and if you do, there'll probably be a couple that suck. So if you at least keep those primary tips in your head, that's all you need to know to do well and participate like properly and really give it your best. Like, you don't have to obsess about, I need to make the perfect deck or whatever. Just make sure you get it done in 30 minutes, and make sure you read the cards correctly, and make sure you look at all 5 colors, carefully consider all of them, and then build the exact appropriate deck that's the best with what you have to work with. So that's about all the advice I can give you for now. Hopefully you do great. Definitely do not get sick right prior to pre-release. That's another great tip. In case I didn't mention that, I probably did, but it's really late and I'm really sick. So I will see you guys next video, and make sure you leave a comment with any other great tips for people, or if it's already Monday, let people know how you did. If you did great, if you did poorly, if my tips helped you, if my tips didn't help you, which would be kind of weird. But look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you next video.